Hey everyone, welcome back. This tutorial, if you're anything like me, is going to help you out immensely. I cannot draw to save my life, but sometimes there will be a situation in which you need to have a line drawing. And it's really easy to take a photograph. It's really hard to sit down with a pencil and paper and come out with something that looks realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that from a photograph and end up with a line drawing as you see on the right. The first thing you're going to want to do is get your photograph and open it up in Photoshop, which I've already taken the liberty of getting this one. So now that you have that opened, you can go ahead and right click on the background layer over here on the right and click duplicate layer. You just click OK, name that whatever you want, and then you're going to go into image and adjustments, and you're going to go black and white. Now what this is going to do is it's going to give you a lot of control over the contrast, because you can change each color to be more white or more black depending on how you want it. So what you want to have done is like here on the reds, I want to have maybe about that much. On the yellows, I want to have it all the way down so that it brings that black out a lot. On the greens though, I might want to have that up so that I start adding some white back into this image. So blues need to come down, and yellows, obviously I now still have too much black in there, so we can bring the yellows back up. Magentas, you can change that however you want. So now that you've got that pretty much how you think it's going to look as far as a good black and white photograph with a lot of contrast, you can go ahead and click OK. And then what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate that top layer again, the one that you just changed into black and white. You can go ahead and do that, name it whatever you want, and then click OK. Now you're going to go back up to Image, Adjustments, and what you're going to do is you're going to invert this layer. So now you've got this real weird kind of looking thing. Now one thing I want to point out before we move on is you see how this blur kind of effect happens here? That's because these vehicles were moving. So this technique doesn't typically usually work well with things that were moving, but there are a few things that I can show you to help out with that later, motion blur. Okay, go back over here to your blend layers. This drop down here, usually it's on normal. What we're going to change it to is color dodge. And now you've got this kind of white with, it's already starting to get a few lines in there. But what you're going to do is go to Filter, Blur, and the most used tool ever in Photoshop, Gaussian Blur. Now you're going to see how that already changed it. If you drop it all the way down, you're back to the original. If you drop it all the way back, all the way up, wait for it to load, eventually, you're back to that. So what you want to do is go somewhere in between and just keep adjusting it until you've got kind of what you want. So I'm going to go about there and click OK. Now you see in here we've got all of this kind of pixelated looking stuff right there. So what you can do is over here you go to your dodge tool, which is on the left tool panel, or you can just continue hitting O. And you can go ahead and clean that up right in front of the car. So basically that's just lightening everything in front of it. So go ahead and do that in front of the others. And if you have too much detail over here, it's just kind of looking too busy, you can go ahead and take out some of that black just by going along with the brush tool. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching.